Welcome back to another Wreck2Resto episode. On today's episode, I've got the HG Ute back on the hoist. For a couple of reasons, I'm not actually going to get stuck into this one, but on the front of this car is the original HG disc brakes and calipers. I've got a mate that's got a HK Kingswood that was in need of some disc brakes because his is only drum brake front. When I get around to building this car, it's obviously going to have better brakes on it. His Kingswood's just a standard 6-cylinder car. So he reached out and asked, have you got any disc brakes, Andrew? I said, yeah, well, actually I do. So I've got a couple of other spare sets of brakes. So I'm probably going to take these ones off and I'll chuck some HQ ones on for now. So I'll show you guys how I'm going to pop these ones off, chuck the other ones on, get it rolling again, and then I can push it back to the other side of the shed again and forget about it for a bit. But I figured I'd just film what I'm doing, show you guys how it's done, and we'll get cracking on. First on the to-do list is there's a bit of grease on these control arms from where the ball joints have been greased. Just gonna get some degreaser, give everything a quick wipe down, just so I don't get absolutely filthy doing this. I'll give it a quick clean, and then I'll get it pulled apart. He's actually changing his over to rack and pinion, so that's half the reason of doing all this. So he doesn't actually need the steering arms on the back, but to get the steering arms off, you've actually got to pull the disc off. It's not the end of the world, basically just drop the caliper off, undo, because the bearings are actually in the disc on these, you can't pull the disc off the hub. So I'll have to pop this cap off, undo the split pin, undo the nut, pull the whole assembly off, pull that off. So I might just make a start on getting that all apart. So I don't have to keep walking and getting tools, I'll bring the toolbox to me. I reckon one of the most underrated things to have in a shed is a couple of these plastic tables that you can just move around. It's very handy when you're disassembling things just to have somewhere right there you can put everything and lay it out. So, not overly expensive from Bunnings, but they come in handy a lot. So this little retainer for the brake line just picks up on the back of the steering arm. So I'll have to take that bolt out anyway, but I'll send these to him because I'm not sure if he has them or not. All right, let's get this disc off. So this bearing and seal, I can just leave that on there because I'm going to reassemble this to send it. So undo these couple bolts, crack the rest of it, and then I'm going to pull the whole stub axle off, and then I'm going to swap stub axles with him down the track. I think I might go get some ooga-doogas. These threads are pretty crusty as well, so move on. Might as well do the other side while I'm up to it. Now I've got all of that apart. This is ready to split. So I need to undo this split pin, that split pin, and pretty well undo these. Once I've got them undone a couple threads, so I can just give it a crack with the hammer and split it. And I'm either going to put some threaded rod through here or a ratchet strap just to hold it. Normally you can just use the weight of the car when it's got the engine in it, just keep a bit of weight on it and then slowly lift it up on the hoist. But obviously I don't have an engine in this car, so I have to improvise. Normally you'd replace these split pins when you do this anyway, so side cutters work pretty well to be able to get them out. Just see if I can get this split. So you don't want to hit up on the thread because you can damage the thread, but if you can crack them on the side, it normally splits them. Go. See how that just popped apart? I'll do the same thing on the bottom. There we go. See what I can jerry rig up to hold that spring. Just grabbed a ratchet strap, one of the heavy duty ones, and I've just gone the whole way around just to hold a bit of pressure up on this. And I'm just going to gently undo them and just see how it goes and just make sure there's not too much pressure on it. Drop it on the bottom one. All right, now there's no pressure on that. What I might do, because when you release ratchet straps, obviously they want to just go. I might just get my transmission jack, put it under the control arm, and then I can put a little bit of weight up, take that off, and hopefully it won't turn into a pogo stick. I might just chuck my other spare stub axles on now while I've got the jack there and put this side back together. So I've just gone and raided my parts bin, and this is what I've come out with. So that is the rotor that I've just pulled off. So see how they're just a thick, solid steel rotor. So that's HKTG style. These ones here are HQ style. So they're a vented rotor. They're a tiny bit larger. Not much, but a little bit larger, and obviously a fair bit thicker. These are the HQ calipers that I've got, so they're still a cast steel PBR caliper. So I'm in the process of rebuilding these ones, I just haven't finished yet. So you can sort of see the piston sizes on those ones. And then that's a factory HKTG one. So these ones have pistons on both sides. These ones are floating, so they've only got the piston on one side. So that is one of the old stub axles. So HK, the whole way through to WB, I'm pretty sure, use the same disc brake stub axle. The only difference is HKTG's, the caliper sits on the front side, so that it doesn't clash with the steering. But when you get to HQ, the steering is actually on front, so then the caliper's on the back. So if you get stub axles and everything off of HQ, basically all you need to do is the left-hand one goes on the right-hand one goes on the left. But you need to swap the calipers over because the bleed nipples on the calipers have to be facing up. So that's just something you need to watch out for. If you swap them, bleed nipples facing down, you'll never bleed them. So it's a pretty easy swap. I think the track width changes a tiny bit, but I'm not 100% sure how much. But I'll get all this stuff cleaned up, get it chucked back on, and I've got plenty of spare HQ steel wheels that I can put back on this thing to get it rolling again. And mate who wants the HKTG stuff to keep all the same stud pattern, I'll get all these boxed up and sent off to him. So these steering arms that I've got here are actually HQ power steering arms. So that length between here, like the center point and here, is actually a lot shorter. These are, the front end that's going in the prem is actually already set up for rack and pinion. So these were originally for that, and they're probably gonna go on it, but just to get this thing rolling again, I'm just gonna put this on and then I can pull it apart again down the track. Just gonna go get all this surface rust off on the wire wheel. Just clean it up a bit and then I can reassemble it. Just for shits and giggles, I should chop a bit off this spring so it doesn't sit like this when it doesn't have the engine in it. I might do that, plus it makes it easier to get back together. What do you reckon? To be honest, it looks like this has been cut before. I'll just take one full coil off it, see how that goes. Got one coil chopped off, get this thing back together. I can get those ones a bit tighter once I get everything bolted back together. These bolts are all pretty shitty, so I might just give them a quick clean up on the threads just to make them a bit easier to put them back together. How good is it when you clean the threads up and you can screw them in by hand the whole way? I have a feeling this other one might have a slightly damaged thread though. Alright, let's get some brakes on. This is literally just to roll it around the shed as well, so I'm not going to worry about packing them full of grease or anything like that. So now we have HQ brakes on a HG Holden. Basically, caliper can go on like that. Bolt holes and everything line up. Be good to go. So I'm not going to worry about putting the calipers on. I'll just chuck the wheels on just to get this thing rolling again. I'll get exactly the same thing done on the other side, and then I can get this stuff packaged up. Done. So I'll quickly get this other side done. and then I'll show you all the bits I've got once I've finished. So there we have it. Hands are absolutely filthy. Brakes are all disassembled, ready to get packed up. And the HG ute is back on the ground, rolling on those HQ stockies. So they're just some spare wheels that I had set up with some burnout tyres a few years back when I did motivation, but they're fine just to chuck on this thing to get it rolling for now. Ended up chopping a little bit off both of those springs just to drop the front end down a bit. And it's sitting about the same as what is in the back. So this thing can get pushed back over there again, get the cover put on it. And I can drag this thing back over. And it's time to get cracking on this rear quarter. So this is what I'm going to be working on next on the prem. Get all these bits cut out, get this piece put in, get the lower quarter done, and then I can move on to the other side. And then one of the other big jobs I'm going to have coming up on this soon, which I'll document the whole thing and probably be a bit of interest in it, is mini tubbing a HKTG sedan. There's a fair bit involved with it, but I'll probably do a little series just on that. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, keep an eye out in the future for that little mini series that'll come up. There's obviously quite a few guys that are interested in doing that sort of work themselves, so I'll show you how I do it, and it might be pretty helpful to some of you guys. All right, I'll wrap this one up there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon.